Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Etheria restart video. So in today's video, guys, I wanted to go over the most efficient SR characters that are currently in the game at the making of this video. And the reason why I wanted to go over this list is because we have a reconfigure event right now where you can reset any of your heroes up to 3 times. They do cost gems after the first one, but at this point in the game, there might have been some SR heroes that you leveled up and you no longer really need to use them because maybe you pulled an SSR that fills in the slot or you're past certain content where they're just not usable anymore. So I wanted to bring in this list because I think you should take advantage of it and at least build up one or two of the characters that I'm going to mention on this list, especially if you are stuck. If you're getting hung up somewhere, there's two heroes, the first two I'm going to mention, which are probably the most likely to be the heroes, but they should be a priority for you 100%. But yes, I wanted to bring this list to you just in case you don't have them leveled up or they've flown under the radar or you don't know how to build them. So the first hero is Ditting. He's everywhere. If you look at any of the leaderboards on essentially all of the shell dungeons from Hell to Nightmare, and all the way up to Hell 4 stages for Terramaton and Aurora, he's everywhere. He's also amazing for Ember Trek clearing, and also quite good in some of the anti-sync echoes stuff. Union Boss, he's great everywhere. I don't have him built personally because I can clear most of that content, and after that, he kind of falls off, at least for the time being. I do think he's going to make a resurgence for like speed tuning and just like speed runs in the very, very end game once you have everything kind of figured out. But I'll end up building him then, I think. The issue with him is he's going to be very lattice hungry. He needs 4 lattices in his skill 3, he needs 4 in his skill 2, and he needs 3 in his skill 1. So that's 11 of them. However, he really will help you clear content that you have no right clearing, at least as quickly as you do. You have every right to clear the content. It's just you'll you'll be clearing it way quicker than people that are your same level, and they just won't know why. Early game, you're just going to build him like Onslaught and Harvest gear from Doki Doki and from Terramaton. And then eventually you'll start moving up into like Keen Eye, which is also a drop from Terramaton. Any of the attack sets are perfect. He has a built-in like a crit rate buff thing. However, I think you should still build him with high crit rate because the excess crit rate converts into crit damage anyway. So there's no reason not to build him in crit rate because his passive benefits, him being over critted anyway. So he's very straightforward. The other hero, I actually think this one is the highest priority because she can literally be used everywhere, and that's Valerian. Where Ditting is probably 90% of the game, Valerian is truly 100%. You do need to fully max out her skill 3, but that is it. So, if you don't have her skill 3 fully maxed out, she will not be nearly as good as what I am propping her up to be. But not only does she only require 4 lattices, she is extremely easy to gear. Like, so easy to gear because all you do is build her extremely high HP. She doesn't need any speed at all. You actually don't want her to go fast ever. So extremely slow, very high HP, broken sets, whatever. Just maximize, try and get as much health as possible. So you end up utilizing this Hazy Dream for basically 3 turns. Because she starts with it if you have her fully skilled up. And then when she takes her first turn, she'll go into a 2-turn Hazy Dream again. This should give your team at least enough time to really do what they're trying to do. And if not, she does have some pretty good utility on her skill 2 and even on her skill 1 for like Doki Doki because she does have a little bit of crowd control. If you're using her for that, you're gonna have to build her with a little effect accuracy. I highly doubt you should, I don't think you should do that. Just prioritize the HP. To give you an example, I use her, I think, in every single team I use. In Threshold, she's in my Terramaton, she's in my Doki Doki, and she's in my Aurora teams. For the shell drops, I think there's like 1 or 2 dungeons where I might not use her, but I could slot her in and it would probably work. The way that I have her built is exactly like I said. She's only 5 stars, and I play her over 90% of my SSRs. And I just have her stacked HP. So if I ever wanted to progress further in this game, I could probably get her up to 6 star and maxed out. Because I truly think she's worth it. If she has any kind of HP over here, she doesn't. It's just speed. So I think I already hit her HP. Yeah. I'll just continue leveling her up. But these are the modules that I'm running on her. So she does have Wellspring for the 45% HP, but she's just HP bonus on every side. And I still don't even have this leveled up yet. So she can be better, but super easy to build. Okay. That is the first one I think you should prioritize. And then Didding if you're struggling on some of these bosses. Sonia is the next one. The fact that Sonya does heals without any kind of cooldown is just insane. There's another healer I'm going to talk about on this list, but if you compare her to Ling Luo, I think Ling Luo is an amazing healer. The problem is her cooldowns are on 5 turns. So unless you're running her really fast and have ways to boost her turn meter or increase her speed, Sonya is going to be a safer hero, I think, when it comes to healing. The other nice thing about her passive is she does remove debuffs. Now, Ling Luo also does it, but it's at a 65% chance unless it's leveled up to 75, where this is 100%. Now, it only purifies 1 debuff on a hero, where Ling Luo can hit a couple because she heals twice. But without having this on a cooldown, it's amazing for Doki Doki. Doki Doki's minions have like stun, they have defense down, they have a couple things that really hinder the consistency of that dungeon run. If you're utilizing Sonya, it's fantastic. She also has a revive. This has some cheese capabilities with like Messiah, who has invincible. I've talked about that a couple times. So don't underestimate this either. It also increases max HP. This pairs really well with the max HP heroes on this game. Veronica's, Tiamat's, Lilith's. This is another thing that kind of plays into some fine-tuned team building. So she's absolutely amazing as well. And then the last one that I want to talk about that is, kind of straightforward is Dina. So Dina is the best damage dealing debuffer, I think, in the game. When it comes to damage, I think Kloss is a better overall hero because she also provides some damage mitigation. But if you are going for just like really quick clears where you're trying to cheese stuff with Didding, with Valerian, keeping your people alive, which I also didn't mention. If someone's about to die, Valerian will actually save them. So it's like a cheat death mechanic. Another reason why she's so amazing. But Dina is going to be a better option for you than Kloss because of the vulnerable and the erosion. These add additional damage that Kloss can't. Whenever Kloss's skill is fully leveled up, she does have close to the same amount of damage amp if the erosion isn't taken into effect and it's just defense down and vulnerable. But whenever you land all 3 of these things, Dina is the best damage amp hero in the game. When you're utilizing her with Didding, you only need to build her with high speed and effect accuracy to land this debuffs. You don't need to have her built with damage or anything like that because Didding is doing all of the work for you. She also does turn meter steal, so if you build her fast enough, she can kind of loop bosses. They've nerfed her because she was that good. So those like those four, I think are extremely straightforward. But some other ones that I do want to mention. Oh, and I think Marvel, like he's good. However, the turn meter pushback and the speed down, while this is an amazing skill, with this being on a 5 turn cooldown, it's just a little bit too much for the end game, in my opinion. There are possibilities to reset stuff with lower cooldowns like 3 or 4. And once you get Codex of Magic, which is a really crazy shell, it's the very last shell dungeon, which tomorrow's video will be on that dungeon. Uh, he's also quite good. But as you progress further up into the game, turn meter pushback effects get nerfed, and some bosses end up having immunity on them as well. So his value comes down a little bit. Still a great hero, but um, I would prioritize the other heroes. So Viper is a hero that I think is extremely undervalued. The fact that he can AoE dispel 2 buffs and then put attack down and speed down, like he is perfect for Aurora. If you are struggling on the Aurora dungeon, you should build him up. I have him skilled up on his skill 3 all the way because I want to maximize the percentage chance of this. Aurora builds up damage if her attack is high. So the fact that he can dispel the immunity and land attack down and speed down on the same skill on a 3 turn cooldown is just so underrated. Uh, you can also utilize him in Arena. I will eventually really transition into Arena, but I'm just trying to get through PvE right now. I have no interest in trying to scale up the ladder for PvP because I just want to get all that stuff ironed out and then, you know, hardcore kind of farm it. But he'll eventually be utilized there. But this skill is his bread and butter, and if you can land this consistently on Aurora, it makes the runs so easy. He's also great in Fabian, which I have shown a video on, and he's amazing in Nico Nana. I think he's going to be needed in Nico Nana, like Inferno, just because the speed differences on Inferno mode, everything hits so much harder. This guy is just fantastic as you scale into the late game. Early on, he might not seem as good, but whenever more and more mechanics come out where turn meter reduction is reduced, immunity's up a lot more, you know, bosses are putting up buffs, the dispelling, like all 3 of his abilities are extremely relevant in game. So he's down the list on the heroes that I've mentioned already. Like you should have a Didding, a Valerian, a Sonia built up. If you have a Kloss, maybe you can skip out on the Dina, but Viper is going to come towards the end there. I think Kraken has kind of flown under the radar. I think because Valerian and Didding have come along so much, people forget how good Kraken is. The crowd control plus turn meter pushback on one skill, also on a 4 turn cooldown, is so good. I've really started to use him later on in the late game. I just started building him up because what I've realized is a lot of the minions in some of these dungeons end up putting on really strong buffs, or they do good amount of damage by themselves to your team. So with him fulfilling 2 roles with the crowd control and the turn meter pushback, I've found him to just really get stronger and stronger as the end game goes. Now, you do have to pair him with somebody that strips, right? We've already talked about Viper and how, um, immunity is on a lot of things. But even though the turn meter pushback is reduced, the fact that you get the crowd control on top of it is phenomenal. And he has a defense down debuff on his skill 1. This should not be unrecognized. A lot of times, if you have people on your team that are doing one specific thing, you might be missing out on some damage amplification. So he's just like Viper, where he just brings so much in one character, hence he's efficient, right? It's the whole point of this video. He's built just like Viper and just like Dino. Really high speed, really high effect accuracy. And I'll talk about shells real quick too at the end of the video, but I want to finish these two heroes. Chiaki. A lot of people are sleeping on this hero. As you scale up further into the game, you will see, which is why Didding is not working on Inferno. They can't kill the boss quick enough before the boss is killing them. So you can put up attack down, you can have your defense up on your heroes, all of those things, and it still might not be enough. So whenever you can introduce a new mechanic to the game or a new unique buff like Origami Guardian, where it's just a flat reduction of damage taken, this stacks on top of the attack up. It stacks on top of the defense up, and it comes with a huge heal. I'm planning on fully skilling this hero up because I think she's going to be the answer to Inferno Terramaton if you don't have Shadow Sonia. Like, if you're trying to beat the dungeon the right way, um, I think she is one of the keys, which is why I'm going to be leveling her up. The more you level her up, the more stacks of this Origami Guardian you get, which is going to be really important because you're going to be taking a lot of hits, and having one stack of it won't be enough. She's another hero that, as you progress later in the game, you're going to just build her really high HP, but you'll eventually have to transition over to speed and HP. Because if she's not taking enough turns, she won't loop back around to this ability fast enough where the even with two stacks of Origami Guardian, it's not going to be worth it. And then the last hero is Fangus. I think Fangus is going to be the answer to the Inferno shell dungeon stages, even if you don't have Shadow Sonya, because he can follow up on assisting. All of his damage will come from DOT. He's also going to be, lattice hungry because you have to fully level this up, and you'll have to fully level this up too to increase the percentage chance of the DOT landing. But his skill 3 is fantastic. It's also on a 3-turn cooldown. DOT and speed down. Speed down is such an important debuff in the end game that having this on one ability, similar to Viper, it does so much that if it was just DOT, I still think he'd be solid. But the fact that he adds the speed down as well is really, really clutch. He's probably going to be one of the next people I build just because I think he's the answer to, maybe Nico, Nana, Inferno, which I've really been struggling with. Okay, quick thing on the shells. Now, these heroes, as you're building them up, right? Any of the damage dealers, which was essentially just one, your Didding will eventually start with an Agent Lizard, right? Where he's going to increase the amount of damage that he does with his one huge, like, ultimate crack. You will really quickly outpace this if you're just starting the game. Okay? As you progress, what you're eventually going to do is you're going to slot in Twilight Knight, which is just the same thing as Agent Lizard, except now you have better stats and a better effect. And then, as you move up, you can use someone like Revelation, which is the step up from Twilight Knight, or you can even incorporate somebody like White Fang, who is one of the earliest. He's the earliest mythic shell that you can get. So he'll increase the crit damage that you do, and he'll do some follow-up hits. So he doesn't amplify the damage like the other two, but he's still a really good option. For all of your supporters, an okay one early on is White Gale because it will increase the time duration of your debuffs. So like attack down, speed down, stuff like that, defense down. All of those things will tick up one additional turn, which can be really key. You can also use things like Unbridled Science on these SRs that increase their turn meter to make sure that they loop back around to their crowd control abilities or their big debuff abilities. As you go further up, you're going to be utilizing things like Black Flag. Same thing, turn meter increase, and you have speed up. So you're just trying to loop back around as quickly as you possibly can to those effects. Jackal Guard is the next step up from Black Flag in the mythic spot, so better effect. more stats. It's the same thing. If you're looking for uh, the equivalent of like White Gale, up here it is Dark Moon. So Dark Moon is the same thing. You're doing more damage, but you also increase your effect accuracy by a higher amount. So uh, that's going to be for your support heroes, and then as you get to the very end game, you're going to transition those heroes into Codex of Magic, which is a full cooldown reduction of a skill that you do, as well as increasing your speed. So this is one of the craziest shells ever. But if you were to use, like, for example, the skill 3 on Kraken, where you push turn meter back and freeze, if you have him equipped with Codex of Magic, that cooldown automatically resets. So his next turn, he does it again. It's nuts. After you do that, though, it does go on an 8-turn cooldown. But because it's 8 turns and you can actually decrease Kraken's skill cooldown to 4, the next time you use it, you'll get 2 free ones again. So the first time you build up to it, you'll have to just eat the 4-turn cooldown, but then the next 4-turn cooldown, this will be off cooldown again. So then you'll get 2 of his skill 3s in a row. So 4-turn cooldowns are really important for Codex of Magic. But yeah, I wanted to reference that real quick. Okay, guys. Um, that's all I got for this video. If you don't have some of those characters built and you have some random SRs kind of laying around that you built up early on with the lattices, it might be time to reconfigure them and reshuffle around and, you know, build up those characters. So that's what I got for you today. Hope you enjoyed. Hope it was helpful, and I'll catch you on the next one.